what are some of the outcomes? And it sounds like the first one is sometimes it doesn't go great. Like sometimes you do get verbally abused, but let's talk about some realistic, what can happen outcomes when we handle conflict in a healthy way, but then also let's talk about what we hope and what we have seen when it's handled well. Like what are the best case scenarios too?
Yeah, and I guess what you alluded to, Trevor, even though the situation may not turn out the way we want it to, it doesn't mean that we didn't handle conflict in a healthy way. And I remember reading this book, and it was like, you can either deal with guilt because you feel bad for telling that person no, or you can say yes, and then you deal with passive aggressiveness and resentments and these bottled up things that end up like eroding your relationship anyways. And so I do deal with guilt when I tell somebody no or have a boundary. Another example was, what are we all doing for Father's Day? And it's like, well, John just got back from a fire assignment, and what he wants to do for Father's Day is go fishing with the kids. So we're not really going to do a big thing. And the comment I got was, oh, the Jamesons want to have their own Father's Day that we're not invited to. And it's like, oh my gosh, like my husband just wants to go fishing with his kids. Like, why is that so bad? So healthy conflict, you just can't, you do what you can in a healthy way, and then how they respond is completely up to them, and it may determine what the next steps are. But I find that healthy conflict helps you love better, because even with my person that can't stay the night until they can agree to these things, I do broken record. And so it's like, I love you. You are always welcome here, but I need to know these things, and we need to be able to agree on these things. But I love you. I would love for you to come for Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And it's just this broken record. And they may try a new approach. I'm saying they because I don't want you to know if it's a boy or a girl, not because I think they're a they. But okay. they may try another approach.
Yeah, we were really confused. Go ahead.
But no, they may bring it up again or try another approach, or think I forgot and be like, so it'd be great to come see, the kids for Thanksgiving. It's like, okay, but we need to revisit this conversation, and it's broken record again. I love you, but I need to know, I need for my own peace of mind, I can't have this indefinite thing hanging over my head of how long you're going to be here. And so that, I think it just frees you to love them more, because before I was bold enough to have these conversations with my mom, my dad, my in-laws, my friends, I would just avoid conversations and just not answer the phone or make an excuse. And that feels gross. Like when you're lying about why you can't attend something or why you can't have people over, it just doesn't feel authentic, and you don't feel like you can truly love that person. There's a freedom in being able to say, I love you so much, and you can't stay at my house more than 4 days, but I love you so much. So what are some other alternatives?
Yeah, well, and that's a lot of wisdom in that, to recognize that time does not heal all wounds, because I think some of us do that with conflict. Like, well, it didn't go well at Christmas. We all just kind of moved on. And then 6 months later, they asked for the same thing. And I make an assumption that, well, it's been a while, maybe this will go better. And it's like, no, if you didn't ever really get a chance to work through that conflict, then it's going to still be there. It's going to come back up. And so I think standing your ground and being that broken record, that's a really great idea. What came to mind for me, like what makes for healthy conflict, or what are the outcomes? I think if it's people who are committed to trying to do healthy outcome together, like you and your spouse, you and your kids, close family members, if there's a mutual commitment to, hey, we know we're not always going to see eye to eye, but we want to do it well. An outcome of that is people feel heard. They feel like their opinion was considered and that it was brought into the conversation. Yeah. They feel valued for where they were, and they feel like there was an opportunity, you mentioned it, Trevor, for that give and take. That even if maybe an initial thing doesn't go well, afterwards there was give and take. There was, help me understand. Let's share what we were feeling. Let's try to think this through from another angle. And so the outcomes, of healthy conflict can be stronger relationship, a firmer sense of being a team, being on the same page. And that's obviously the goal. Now, on the flip side, if it's with people who are not necessarily committed to having healthy conflict, you might not be able to look at the relationship at all. You might just need to look at yourself. And I think the outcome is feeling a sense of peace and not regret that I did say what I needed to say. I took the step I needed to take for my health or for the good of my family. And maybe it didn't go well with that person, but I'm proud of the way I approached it. That in and of itself, if you look back at conflict and have even a small sense of pride of like, wow, that was way better than I usually handle that. that's a great outcome because you're seeing growth in yourself, and that's always a positive thing.
Yeah. And it's a good time to remind people that you can control what you can control. You cannot control people's responses, but what you can control is how you handle conflict and managing your own self, which is a beast. And